How you doing, guys, and welcome to another video. And in this video we're going to talk cameras. So I got a message on one of my YouTube videos, and it's from a guy called Dude Narima, and he asked me, so should I buy just EOS-M base kit to try filmmaking out, or is there any better camera kit for $250 to $300? So basically he wants to know, should he buy an EOS-M or should he spend a bit more and buy a better camera? Well, it's a hard question to answer because you know I'm a massive fan of the EOS-M. There's nowhere in the world where you can get such a cheap camera, so a camera for under £100 that records 14-bit lossless in RAW. It's absolutely crazy. You cannot find it nowhere. I don't care how far you look. If you find it, let me know and I'll buy it for you. So saying that, is there a better camera if you spend just a little bit more money? To answer to that question, I'm going to say yes. And the camera which I recommend is going to be the BMPCC 1080p original. And the reason why I'm going to say this camera is better than the EOS-M is purely down to reliability and workflow. I want to get into it first and talk about the EOS-M. I'm not saying that this camera's bad. I'm not saying that the workflow's bad. I'm not saying that it's rubbish or whatever. I'm saying that there is a couple of caveats when you're using an EOS-M. Now, as we know, the first caveat we know is things like pink frames or aliasing and moire. I can't even say it, more, whatever. And any of you DOPs or videographers or anyone that's dabbling in the filmmaking process, you know what I'm talking about. Now, basically, when you're using EOS-M and Magic Lantern, sometimes you can get the pink corrupted frames. And that is when you're recording, the camera can't write the information fast enough, so you get a lot of pink frames and corrupted footage. Then you get things like if you're recording a building or something like that, or some sort of straight edges, you might see some colored lines or some jagged lines in your footage. And those are what we call aliasing and moire. And for things like that, we don't want that in our footage. It's okay if you're doing like a YouTube thing and you're just uploading quickly. Most people aren't even going to notice it. It's only the people who are really into the filmmaking process that they'll notice it. But then if you was to charge people money for that, you know, for an advert or something like that, and you had to move around on a gimbal, you're going to have to be very careful, because if you get that, that's not going to look good at all. And there is ways you can overcome that, like if you're using one of the crop modes or the new 5K mode or 4K, whatever. But there's caveats to that again, because then you have to crop in on your image. There's an increased risk of getting anomalies in your footage, like pink frames or some sort of artifacts and focus dots. Sometimes you can't even clean all those up. So therefore, buying the EOS-M, yes, it's amazing. It's a great camera, and I still use it to this day. Even though I've got other cameras, I still use it. But if you was to say to me now in 2020, Colin, can you film this promo for me and I'll give you, you know, £700 for a 30-second promo? Am I going to bring the EOS-M? I'm not sure. So that's one of the reasons why I've got the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera original. Now there's a guy I talk to a lot online. We talk a hell of a lot, private message, YouTube, whatever. And he's called Joel Duarte. And he runs his own YouTube channel, and what he does is he focuses it more on comparison. So he gets, you know, the EOS-M, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, 1080p, the original, the 2.5K, the micro cinema camera. He's done tests on everything. And that's the reason why I actually bought this camera. Because once I saw what he was doing in terms of getting the quality and pushing the extreme quality out of this, just by grading, I thought to myself, wow, you know what, I've got to grab this camera. And boy, I'm not disappointed that I've got it. Using this and then using the mid-tone slider in Davinci Resolve to bring out the mid-range to get it sharper. Then even going a step further, if you've got the studio version, and using super scale to basically get your footage up to 4K, not 4K detail, but it sharpens it up like 4K without destroying the image. It's absolutely amazing. And the fact that you can put an SD card in, record ProRes straight into camera or CDNG, and then straight into your editor, whether it's Final Cut or Davinci, without any processing or converting. Again, it just makes the camera such an amazing tool. These aren't very expensive still right now. If you look around, you can still pick up one for about £300 to £400, but the price is creeping up. I mean, people are starting to realize now, you know, the Super 16 sensor on this, micro 4/3, by the way. So just bear that in mind when you're buying lenses. You might need to get yourself some adapters. But this, yeah, you know, people are picking up on the fact that these have been used in Hollywood in a lot of movies, and one of the biggest ones, Avengers, they use it as a crash cam. Have you seen Tenet? At Tenet, they've actually got this in there as a prop in the lab where the woman is, where she's recording the tests of that reversal thing. They've actually got the BMPCC in the actual film itself. So, I mean, it's an amazing camera. Is it better than the EOS-M? It depends. The EOS-M is very cheap. We're talking a camera under £100, recorded 14-bit lossless RAW, great dynamic range, and you can literally push that footage whatever you want to do with it. But then there's the caveats of you are running external software that can lead to some problems in your footage sometimes. With the BMPCC, yes, it costs 3 times more, but we're still only talking about £300 to $350, so still a great camera. What you can do in Davinci is absolutely amazing. Now, Davinci is your key when you're buying a Blackmagic camera, especially the old 1080p versions or the 2.5K versions. Get to know your color page, all the mid-tone slider, the raw tab settings, and adding in extra sharpness. Now, this isn't the sharpness like we do in Final Cut where we just slap on the sharpness and it kind of sharpens the whole image. It's more intelligent than that. It just seems more intelligent that when you actually put your sharpening in from the raw settings or from the mid-tone slider, it just increases it where it needs to go and not over the whole image, and it just makes it look fantastic. And there's things you can go even further than that once you start doing a split channel, a layered channel, and it splits the chroma from the luminance and stuff like that. It is absolutely nuts. Now, I don't want to go into it because I don't want to make this video like long and boring, but look into super scale and just do some YouTube searches on super scale and how to sharpen and also how to denoise your footage, because that's really going to help you. So without further ado, let's look at some footage I recorded today. Just a quick color correction and then throw a grade on top and then kind of reduce the grade, and then tell me what you think about it in the comment section. Okay guys, so there's the footage. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comment section. But to answer the question about, is there a better camera than the EOS-M? For price wise, no. For price, definitely not. You're not going to find anything better than the EOS-M running Magic Lantern. If you wanted to go into it professionally and you wanted to spend a bit more money, but you didn't want to spend like, £800 or £1,000, then try to look for a BMPCC 1080p original. Make sure it's got a nice clean sensor and everything works well. Get yourself an external recorder. You're recording in RAW CDNG on this, and the dynamic range is absolutely amazing. It's a good camera. Might need extra power. Definitely going to need an external recorder, but the quality you can get out of this if you learn Davinci, trust me, it's worth every single penny. Let me know what you think about it. Would you prefer getting a BMPCC 1080p, or are you still going to go for the EOS-M? Let me know, guys. Thank you, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.